My name is Shannon Faulk. I'm the owner of Shannon Faulk Farmers Insurance Agency. Insurance is good for those individuals who have acquired personal belongings in their life for either themselves or their family or both. Insurance will help to protect those items. Disasters happen, accidents do happen, and you want to make sure that you have the correct coverage and enough coverage in case any of these things happen so it does not cause any kind of financial ruin for you and your family, and those items that you have worked so hard in acquiring are lost forever. Renter's insurance is a good coverage to have, and I would encourage all individuals who do not have a home or own a home to get renter's insurance. Renter's insurance covers the individual as well as their personal belongings. If there's a fire within the home itself, it will protect you from that. If there's a theft, it will also cover you from theft inside your home, but also for inside your auto, for example. It covers your personal belongings in your auto and also worldwide. Also, it covers items regarding liability issues. So if you are entertaining at your home, for example, and someone comes to visit you and they slip and fall in your kitchen, a lawsuit may arise from that. Renter's insurance provides adequate coverage in order to address these legal issues that may come from that entertaining that you were doing at your home. Renter's insurance is a valuable piece of coverage that I would recommend to anyone who does not own their home. The legal requirements really stem around the contract that the purchaser has with the lender itself. So when you're borrowing money to actually purchase a home, you're entering into some sort of contract with that mortgage company. So more than likely, that legal contract surrounds the purchasing of this particular piece of property. So it's necessary for that. So when you're borrowing money, they're asking basically for you to enter into this legal agreement. So in most cases, that agreement is between, again, the purchaser and the homeowner, but it is a legal requirement. So again, when you're looking at purchasing a home, again, you're borrowing money from the lender, and so the lender is saying, okay, in order for you to buy this, you're putting down a certain amount of money, but in addition to that, you're also borrowing probably for the most part a large percentage of the money from the lender itself, and so there has to be some sort of legal agreement saying, okay, I'm doing this. And then so when you get homeowner's insurance, the homeowner's insurance is protecting all parties involved in the purchase of that home. For you, if the home is lost in a covered peril such as a fire, it could rebuild the property. So that protects your asset as a homeowner, but it also protects the asset from the lender who actually has who owns the property as well. So it's a joint legal agreement. So insurance is a critical component in addition to many other documents and coverages that you need to have in purchasing a property. There's a lot of discussion regarding PMI and that particular type of coverage. What it is that generally if you have a purchaser who's putting down less than 20% on the purchase of a piece of property, more than likely the mortgage lender is going to require you to get this additional type of coverage or PMI, basically to help to protect the lender in case you go into default on paying the property itself. So again, this is something that a lot of purchasers need to consider when buying a home, to make sure that if they're putting down less than the 20% requirement, that there may be additional cost for having this PMI coverage as part of their overall insurance cost. Generally, it goes over a period of time, so they're looking at a ratio. So generally, when you're looking at 80% of the funding coming from the mortgage lender, and as time goes on, as you basically increase the ratio of ownership on the property itself, and then you can look at maybe 2, 3 years, and maybe 5 years, and then you can look at possibly having that PMI cost removed from your overall mortgage cost. You always want to look at, number one, someone who has the knowledge of the insurance industry. Someone also who has integrity. Someone who basically has a penchant for doing what they're doing, who has integrity. Also, you want to look at someone who has the expertise that are able to address your concerns and do a proper assessment of what your overall insurance needs are, and make sure that your agenda is on the forefront and not their agenda. So when they're discussing all the products and services, they can make the proper recommendations for you, not just in the short term, in the long term. And then hopefully over the period of time, you can develop a good, solid relationship so each and every year you can have the appropriate conversation to make sure that your coverages are correct for you at that particular point in time, and that you can also make revisions as necessary as life changes happen. So again, when looking at selecting the correct insurance agent or broker, you want to make sure that you have all these different areas and components in place. Just like anything else, you want to do your due diligence and make sure that the person you're having a conversation with, that you're entrusting to make sure that you're properly covered, is well qualified and has your best interests in heart, and also has an integrity to back all that up. Yes, when you're looking at, again, at purchasing auto insurance, again, you want to do your research. And there's many different ways you can look at purchasing auto insurance. My recommendation is, again, to look at someone who has the expertise and knowing what's the best product and service for you as a driver, and especially as a new driver. You can look at certainly buying insurance online, and that might be a viable option for you, but you also want to make sure that you have the opportunity to sit down with an expert so they can explain to you what the proper coverages are, what they mean, and that you're having the correct coverages for you as a driver. Other thing you should also expect as a new driver, that again, it is more risky for an insurance company or carrier to insure you. So you can expect to pay a little bit higher premiums because of that until you get to a certain age, or you have a proven driving record to show that you have no accidents or moving violations. Other part of that you have to look at considering is this insurance going to be your own policy, or is it going to be a policy that's going to be part of you and your family, your parents, or a relative? Those things need to be considered when you're looking at shopping for insurance and the type of coverage. And then lastly, you want to look at the type of vehicle that you're going to be insuring or driving itself. Again, if you're looking at driving a sports car and you're 16, 17, 18 years old, the cost of that insurance can be costly as compared to driving a more standard type of vehicle with less risk or opportunity basically to acquire or get a moving violation itself. So as a new driver, you just want to make sure that you have the discussions with the appropriate insurance person, agent, or broker, so you can be advised accordingly. You want to look at the type of vehicle that you're driving. You want to look at, are you going to be the only driver? Are you part of a household? You also want to look at the amount of driving that you're going to be doing. Are you going to be commuting every day from home to school? Are you going to be driving once a week, once a month? All these things need to be considered in the type of coverage that you need to have and the cost of it. And then finally, there are certain types of parameters when it comes to insuring your vehicle itself. The state of California only requires liability coverage. And liability coverage is good to have, but again, it's the minimum requirement. And it really is minimum coverage for you. But you have to also consider that accidents and disasters can happen, and you want to make sure that the liability coverage is the appropriate type of coverage for you. You may want to look at increasing those coverages, especially being a new driver. So again, all these questions and concerns can be properly addressed when you meet face-to-face with the expert broker and agent.